and welcome to another episode of The Forgotten here on GameKnights. I am your host and your dungeon master, Savvy, and we're here to play some Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm so excited to be back for another week. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about what we have going on the channel this week. If you are live with us on Twitch, you can find our schedule right down below our faces on our Twitch page. You can also find it on our Twitter, pinned to the top of the page. You can also find it pinned to our show's channel in our Discord. So lots of places you can look and see exactly when we're going to go live with all of our many TTRPG shows that we now have on the channel, because we are live 6 days a week here on GameKnights, and I'm here for most of them. Our next live stream after this will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tabletop Tuesdays is back this week with an episode of The Burbs, which is our Savage Worlds. They're playing Savage Worlds, right? Isn't that the right one? I always mess up the system. But the Cthulhu one, where they're stuck in a time loop. Our good friend David runs that for cast and friends of the channel, LB and Alex, and it's really fun. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day, and it's kind of like The Mummy, and you should definitely spend your Tuesday watching it because it's hilarious. Wednesday obviously will be dark, and then Thursday I'll let Val talk a little bit about it, but we're starting our Urban Shadows mini-series. Well, don't get so dramatic, Spotify. Hold on. It's not that big of a deal.
Urban Shadows!
Spotify said Urban Shadows, yes!
Really pumped.
We're doing an Urban Shadows mini-series that Val is going to run. I'll let them talk about that. On Friday, we'll have an episode of Neon Souls. All of us will be there together again, and it's so great. Saturday for Saturday night's Mistborn, where we're playing the Mistborn RPG based off of the novels by Brandon Sanderson, who actually helped do some writing and some commentary in the actual tabletop game book, which is freaking rad. So if you like that, come hang out. And then Sunday we'll be back for Slaying 201, where we're playing Monster of the Week, the other show that I run here on the channel. That's the rundown. There won't be a quiz later because our schedule is posted everywhere, so you can just look at it when you want to know. Yeah, that's what we've got going on this week. So full week of games. But I am going to I keep thinking, oh, I should make a chat command for this game, and then I remember, nope, it's just Neon Souls. It's the same people. I can just type that in, not have to worry about it. So all of their wonderful social medias are in the chat for you right now, but I'm going to let these folks introduce themselves, tell you who they are, where you can find them on the internet, and who they are playing tonight, starting with Sid.
Hey, I am Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid, almost exclusively talking about the fun stuff I do here, because I'm here on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and every other Saturday, and on Sundays. It's a good time. Yeah, Val is kind enough to let me take a bit of a break for Thursdays, because we did just wrap up Elegant Magics last week. 21 episodes. Woof-ta! But yeah, getting into musical season, so I'm gonna just play for a couple weeks, which will be great. But tonight, I'm playing Marta. Marta is a Firbolg Warlock.
Next up is Morgan.
That's me. I'm Morgan, also known as Imagine Matrix on the internet. I do cosplay mainly, so if you're interested in that, you can find me at Imagine Matrix on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all those great places where you can view content. And tonight I am playing Aurelio Carlin, who is the druid.
All right. After Morgan is Sam.
Hey everybody, my name is Sam. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Smackaroni on Twitter, Instagram, really wherever. I am here on Mondays and Friday nights, and currently tonight, I'm also a cosplayer, so that's what you're gonna see if you find me on social media. Tonight I am playing Gladness, who is a tiefling bard. He's real fun. Something.
And finally, Val.
Hello, everybody. I'm Val at the Kraken's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here Thursdays through Mondays playing and running games. Like David mentioned, I run 3 games on the channel long term. Neon Souls every Friday, alternating games on Saturday nights Mistborn, and Saturday nights Star Power. But yeah, this next Thursday and for the next 3 weeks, I will be running Urban Shadows to give Sid a break, which in a mini campaign that I am loosely titling Red River Legends. It's going to be set in modern day Dallas, Texas, my hometown, and it is going to involve some monstrous individuals trying to keep the peace between mortal society and that of the supernatural. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Come join us. We'll do a little bit of setup at the end, but at the beginning, but we're probably just gonna jump right into it. And tonight I will be playing Pod, who is a kobold soul knife rogue.
Excellent. And I'm a dungeon master who's very excited because guess what I bought? It's the new dragon book. So if you out there in the chat thought maybe I was going to go a little off script, have I got some news for you? We're going off book into a different book, and I'm very excited about it. But we don't have to talk about that right now. I think we should get started. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Previously on The Forgotten, the rescue brigade took on their most dangerous opponent yet. Gladness. It's you did it.
This is literally your fault, Sam. Literally your fault.
Till you guys come up with something else, that's what I'm calling you. I can't stop.
I love it.
Gladness stepped forward as Greenest's champion and battled Longdedrosa Cyanrath in single combat. Though he was defeated, the fight was honorable, and the cultists let the 4 hostages go as agreed. After Mutt was reunited with her family, Gladness and Marta returned to the keep to get some rest, and Pod and Leo left with the cultists to keep their cover. Drosa and Leo spent the night together, and while Pod found a quiet place to sleep underneath a tree in the small camp. The next morning, the party reconvened just outside the campsite, Glad and Marta disguised as cultists once again. They joined the cult on their trek back to their main camp, mingling with some of the members along the way, and Marta, sticking out a bit in the crowd, agreed to join the cult after speaking with another young woman who admitted to having similar apocalyptic dreams. When they arrived at the camp, they easily located the prisoners off to one side, where Pod recognized someone immediately, his mentor and friend, the missing monk, Leosin. So last time I gave you guys a little bit of a rundown about what the camp looks like. I will run down a little bit of it again, but I did just put the map in here for you guys to look at so I can just point to things. So it doesn't have to take a long time. Ta-da! It's a camp. So as you can see, there's a little overview in the corner showing kind of the whole plateau down here. And then the camp is set kind of in this horseshoe that is sunken down within the plateau. There's lots of boulders and difficult terrain around here. All of the top parts of the plateau are tall grass. Yes?
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Did you change? I
put you guys on it.
Does everybody else see it? Is it just me?
Yes, it's just you. Hit refresh.
I'm gonna refresh the page.
There it is.
Yay!
You can see it now.
20 is a
Yeah,
butt.
I can see it.
Okay, cool. So you've got boulders and stuff kind of scattered around the edges of the plateau, at the bottom of these like sheer cliff faces that go about 150 feet up at their tallest, so they're pretty tall. Let's see, what else do we got on here? There are several like caves sort of dotted around. We talked about the one very large cave in the very, very back. There are 2 guard towers, one which you have just walked past, that are built. They're all meant to be temporary. I think you can tell pretty easily. They are built out of essentially planks that are lashed together with rope, one of them at the entrance, and then one of them up on the plateau itself towards the back. Each of them has this very large horn on top of it, presumably that someone could sound in case of intruders. And then there are groups of tents sort of scattered about. Here in the front of the camp where you have just walked through are some smaller ones. They're essentially little huts and tents that have been sort of temporarily pitched here. There are some smaller ones where you see a lot of like kobolds roaming around, presumably because they don't need as much space. They get bigger as you move back towards the back of the camp. And then in the very back, in front of the cave, there is a one very large tent that has a few guards scattered around outside of it. And then you all had noticed sort of off to your right around this edge over here, a post where several prisoners, including Pod, your Githzeri friend, Leosin, is chained up to a post. So everyone you're traveling with has kind of scattered. Some have gone into tents. Longdedrosa has sort of picked up his things again and is making his way towards the back of the camp, sort of in the direction of that very large tent and in the direction of the cave. And everyone else is kind of scattered around.
Can I get to a position where I can see Leosin and then the other 3, or my other 3 friends, all within eyesight?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty open. None of these like clusters of tents, they're not very large is the thing, so you can kind of like skirt to one side. You can pretty much see the whole camp from the center of it. So
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my psychic whispers again to establish a connection between a couple of people. Oh shoot, I can only do 2.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a connection because I left Marta out last time. I'm gonna do one with Marta and one with Leosin.
Okay.
And I rolled a 5, so that's gonna be for 5 hours.
Okay.
And it's just gonna psychically whisper to Leosin. Well, you look like shit.
You hear in your mind probably a little bit of a laugh, and then a familiar voice. Thank you, Pod.
How'd you fuck this up?
Well, I may be very good at what I do, but I'm only one man against an army.
Want me to get you out of there?
No.
Alright then. Well, I guess enjoy yourself.
Oh, I will. I'm having a ton of fun. No, this is the perfect spot for information gathering.
Alright. What information have you gathered?
Quite a bit, actually. I know a fair bit, I would say, about how this place works.
Alright. Is that why you asked me to come here?
Well, I did ask you to come here before the capture parts.
Yeah, I figured. I didn't assume they'd let you send letters.
No. But yes, I'm learning quite a bit, and I figured, given your history, it might be of interest to you.
Yeah. Is this the same group I was telling you about?
I believe so.
Well, shit. I was hoping you were going to tell me that there just so happen to be 2 dragon colts running around.
No, I think they have consolidated.
Great. Well, I've got some friends with me. We're going to see what we can get, but we should probably get you out of there before we leave.
Are you going to keep insisting on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of worried they're going to execute you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they still want me alive, but if you can come up with something... well, I'm not in a position to stop you.
No, you aren't. You know me. I've always got a plan.
I do not know this about you at all.
Wow. Maybe I'll leave you there then.
Mm-hmm.
All
I'm
right,
sure
wanna
you
get-
would want to waste the 12-mile walk you just made to leave me here.
Yeah. Well, I guess while you're hanging around there, is there anywhere that you recommend I poke around?
Oh, there are a couple of places I recommend you stay very, very far away from.
Where would that be?
Well, if I tell you, you're just going to go poking around in them.
No, I won't.
But after all this time, you still mistake me for an old fool.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go check out the cave.
That is one of 2 places I would suggest you not go.
And the big tent.
Yes, it's... Well, the layout of the place is pretty straightforward, I would say, as to what's important.
It's kind of like it's telling me the 2 places that I should go. It's like when I walked
They
in
really-
here, it gave me a summary of the 2 places I really shouldn't go.
They really, really are very, very confident in their security based on the way they've set up this camp.
Yeah, the 2 guard towers. Yeah. Ooh. Real strong stuff.
Be careful, please.
All right.
Amalia will have you executed if she catches you.
Roger.
You and your friends,
Okay.
of which I think there are 3 I can pick out in this crowd. A conspicuous bunch for you to be spending time with.
Well, they help me get around a little bit quieter.
Fair
Good
enough.
to keep loud people nearby. All right. Well, mine's open. If you need to let me know anything else.
All right. Don't get caught.
Never. And Pod will send a message to Marta. We should probably meet up with everyone. It's Pod. I can't hear you. I can only hear you if you think the words, not if you say them out loud.
Oh, right. Where are you?
I'm nearby.
Then why aren't you just coming up and talking to me?
Because we're undercover.
Right. We're not supposed to be friends. Got it.
No.
So what do you want to do?
Can you find Glad?
You just see her go. He's over there.
Ink, don't point. Gosh.
Sorry.
You get Glad. I'll flag down Leo, assuming she hasn't gone off somewhere with the dragon guy. And we can talk this out.
Right. Okay. Where should we meet you?
I'll let you know. I'll try to find an empty tent.
Okay.
I'm assuming some kobolds died in the attack.
I hope not.
Well, for our sake, I hope so.
Looks puzzled by that remark, but starts wandering over toward Glad.
Marta, aren't we supposed to be keeping a low profile?
Yep. So I'm not telling you that Pod said that we should find a place to talk.
You are super lucky that I'm walking at the back of the party. Yeah, that tracks. Just
Okay.
be you by wherever we end up going, and I'll find you.
Okay. Marta starts heading toward where she saw Drosa go. Because he said that he would introduce her to people.
He did. So Drosa has made his way towards the back of the camp. And I think Marta, as you make your way that general direction, he's very easy to see. So I think you see him sort of nod to a couple of guards and pull back the flap of the large tent in the back of the camp and go in.
Walk up toward the guards. Hi!
They don't, much like the guards at Buckingham Palace, they do not move. They stand there, spears in hand, at attention.
Can I say something to Drosa?
No.
Oh. Okay, see you later.
So easily decided.
Nope.
I think he probably hears you because it's just a tent. And you hear a loud voice again from the inside of the tent. He sticks his head out and says, "Ah, Marta, is that you?
Hi!
Come in, come in." He looks at the guards. "Don't be ridiculous." "But, sir, we're supposed to guard that." "Nonsense! Come in."
Ducks to get inside because I'm sure it's still not tall enough for her.
Well, it's tall enough for him.
Oh, okay. Very big tent. Got it.
Pretty tall. Well, it's got some tall people inside.
Fair.
As you will see when you enter. So you enter the tent, sort of stand by the flap entrance with Drosa standing next to you. And he sort of gestures very broadly to some other people who are currently standing around a table in the center of the tent, one of which who has sort of gone off to one side and is setting down her things. You see 3 other people in here. One of them you have seen before, short cropped hair, purple robes, Amalia, who has traveled back with all of you and is sort of putting her stuff down, unpacking it. setting it next to a cot that's been set up on one side of this tent, and the other two people who are standing across from each other at this large table, one of which is as tall as Drosa, a bit thinner and a bit leaner, with black scales, another half dragon, also in this sort of purple robed garment, but with this large black mask that is shaped like a dragon's face, sort of strapped, like hanging from her belt, and with a very large black greatsword on her back. She stands there sort of leaning over, looking at the map, pretty much ignoring Drosa, looking a little irritated. And then you see another person standing across from her, who you have not seen before. They are also very tall. They have a shaved head and tattoos that are running around their eyes and sort of down their cheekbones. This long, like crimson red robe. And sitting on top of their head is this large, sort of fanned out golden, like headpiece, and they're sort of muttering to themselves. And Drosa clears his throat once again and says, "Rezmir, I know you're quite busy. Sure, but I have a new recruit to introduce you to." And the half dragon sort of sighs, looks down at the table, looks up at the person across from her, and stands up. She says, "Drosa, I've told you, you don't have to run every new recruit by me at this point. I think we're trusting your judgment, at least as far as their battle prowess is concerned." She kind of looks you up and down, Marta. "Hello. Welcome. You may go now." And turns back to the table and begins to look over some notes. The person that's standing across from her in the red robe is going to chuckle, says, "Now, Rezmir, there's no need to be impolite. Welcome."
Thank you.
"What is your name, dear?"
Hi, I'm Marta.
"Marta. This is Rezmir. I'm Joss."
Nice to meet all of you. Looking forward to working with you in this here cult.
What brings you here? What are your skills?
I can do a couple different things. Brought me here is well, I was telling Drosa that I was having these dreams. And then I talked to another one of the ladies here that said she was also having some dreams. So I thought I'd come by and see maybe what they were about.
As good a reason as any. You'll find many here with dreams, premonitions, all sorts of things.
Really? Like lots of people?
Certainly.
All right.
Well, we must get back to work. Welcome. And praise be to Our Lady.
Yep.
They turn back to the table, and Drosa kind of claps you on the shoulder. It's like, "Well done. I should get to work."
Okay. Should I just go back with everybody else, or?
Yes, one of the dragon claws, I assume, will have something for you to work on, so...
Okay, bye!
Goodbye. He walks over to the table.
This like had the worst possible vibes of like coming into a new job and being like unnecessarily introduced to every single higher up that there is.
Mhm.
And you will never run into these people ever again, but your boss still insists on it.
Yeah, like
That's
the
how
district
awkward this
manager
was.
is there that day, and you're
Yeah.
never gonna see him again because he doesn't even
Ever.
work in this office.
No. That was amazing. Thank you for that experience.
You can't wait. And then on Sunday, I'm making you go to a literal job interview. So
It's gonna be great.
amazing. So yeah, Marta, you turn a little awkwardly, leave.
Oh no, Marta
tense.
doesn't find it awkward at all. She's fine. She's
Awkward
just...
for some of the rest of the folk in here who have begun muttering amongst themselves. Again, I'm trying to find a picture of this person because they look amazing.
Joss. Yes.
Yeah, it's Jos is the name. Where are you? Yeah. I'll show you from the book. Look at this fool.
Oh yeah, that's fucking dope.
Yeah. Anyway. So Marty, you leave the tent. Pod, you're looking for somewhere for the group to meet up. Gladness, you're waiting for Marta to settle somewhere. Leo, what are you doing?
I think Leo is journaling
Okay.
about stuff, maybe like writing some letters and getting some stuff out of the way. And just like chatting with anyone who happens to sit near her.
Yeah, for the most part, people around are kind of scurrying around, working on different things. But occasionally, somebody will sit down, say hello, introduce themselves, that kind of thing. Yeah, you take a little bit, journal, write out a couple of letters that you can send off next time you have the opportunity. And I imagine after a little while, Pod, you find a tent towards sort of the middle of camp, one that's slightly bigger than the ones at the front. That, for your purposes, you could meet with the group in.
Okay. We'll give directions to Marta and try to find Leo and drag her over to the tent.
You say Marta's name in her own mind, and wherever you are in the camp, you see her because she stands up much straighter and starts looking around.
Okay, yeah. Keep turning. All right there. Yep, you're looking. Nope. Back a little bit. Okay, straight ahead. All right. You see the tent at the end there? Okay, the one next to that one on the right. Yep, that one right there. Okay, that's where we're meeting.
Just walks straight forward.
Glad follows 20 paces behind.
Okay. All right, so you all meet up in one of these tents. There are a few things in here. There's a bedroll on one side, a few sort of personal belongings scattered around, but nothing really of any value. But yeah, no one's there. You're all together again.
All right. So what information did everyone pick up that's vital to our success here?
I met another half dragon.
There's
And-
more.
Yeah. Her name is Resimir. And the lady I was talking to said that she's kind of like in charge of the whole camp. She's kind of
that in-
mean, and and she's in charge of all of the prisoners, especially. I think it's your friend.
Yeah, Leosin. I talked with him a bit. He's apparently having a great time here.
Well, I mean, it's not so bad here. I mean, they have mead and they have people and they have half dragons. Like, it's not a terrible place to be, other than the whole keeping prisoners part.
I wonder how bad it is to be a prisoner, though.
Well, he says he's been gathering information, so he might know a couple of things that we don't. He recommended that we stay away from the big tent and the cave. So I'm gonna.
I already went in the big tent.
Oh.
That's where I met the other half dragon. I went in to say hi to Drosa, and Drosa introduced me to a bunch of people.
Great.
Did you see anything that they were looking at? Important stuff?
They had a big map on a table.
What was on the map?
Do I recall in any manner what was on the map?
How hard did you look?
Probably glancing over a bunch of stuff. If it looked cool, she looked at it again.
Just go ahead and roll. Probably would have been like investigation.
This is gonna be fun. Okay. Marta is not stupid. Marta's just not the brightest. Okay.
Repping the high intelligence, low wisdom.
What's that?
High intelligence, low wisdom.
Other way around.
Oh,
high wisdom,
I'm
low intelligence.
I went with the other one.
Yeah.
Foils.
Right. Oh. 13.
Okay.
Which means she rolled a 13.
It's above average. I think you remember at least the basic bits. It was essentially a map of this area. So this area extending out to the Sword Coast and then a little bit north. There were several villages and towns along it. Some of them crossed out with X's, a few of them circled, and then a couple of different symbols next to a couple of the major cities, the closest of which to here is, I believe, Baldur's Gate, if I had to guess. But yeah, it looked, I mean, essentially like they were doing some sort of strategic planning.
She says that in a Marta fashion. It's a big old map, and they looked like they were doing work and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Looked like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, so the map would have extended sort of up the Sword Coast from this, I'm trying to heckin' zoom out, but it's not loading. From sort of the Baldur's Gate area and the green fields where you are up to about Waterdeep, which is a pretty big chunk of the Sword Coast.
So they're like planning to be everywhere.
Maybe they are everywhere.
Who don't like that? Not sure why I don't like that. But I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. So we need to find out what's in that cave, and we need to get whatever's in that tent.
Want to take their map?
And anything else that's in there, yeah.
Or at least look at the map better.
Pod is going to take a stick. I assume this is like a dirt floor. So I have a thing. My background Outlander. I have the Wanderer skill. So I have an excellent memory for maps and geography and can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. So Pod is going to sketch out a map of this encampment and mark out like the watchtowers and the cave and everything, basically what we have there.
Okay.
I think we should try to do this quiet. And I think we should do it tonight. Because the longer we're here, the more likely we get caught.
Your brain thingy that you can do.
Yeah.
Can you like send images with it or just words and sounds and people's voices?
Just thoughts. Yeah, just words. Why?
I was just gonna say, like, one of us could go in there and send you the map with our minds, but if that doesn't work, then that doesn't work.
Yeah, just speaking telepathically. Well, here's what I was considering. We have the watchtower here at the camp entrance. I don't think we have to worry about that too much. It's at a lower elevation. The watchtower that's going to give us the most trouble if we try to get into the cave is the one up there on the cliff. If I can climb up there and take out the guard, then we should be able to get into the cave unseen.
Why are we trying to get into the cave?
Because they're protecting it.
Right.
So it's probably just got a bunch of gold and stuff in it, right?
Well, then we grab some of that. Anything they don't have helps us, right?
I guess so. But how does that help us get all the hostages out?
Well, what I'm saying is, before we get the hostages out, we should investigate.
Steal stuff? Okay.
And then, once we have all the information we need, I think maybe we set a couple of the tents on fire, grab the hostages, make a run for it.
This is a very violent plan.
I didn't say we had to kill anyone. I just said that we, set a couple of the empty tents on fire and they have to panic and put them out.
And assume
Sends
no
a
one
message.
dies in that.
Yeah.
What if we just set the guard towers on fire?
That works too.
Because then nobody sleeps in them and they'll be less likely to see us running away.
Classic misdirection.
There might be a way for us to just ask someone what's in the cave.
I mean,
I'll
I asked
stress
him.
See, I feel like we want to avoid putting ourselves on the radar, and asking what's in the cave will tell us that we don't know what's in there. So they'll figure that out, that we don't know what's in there already. I'm assuming most people do. And two, why are we trying to figure out what's in there if we're not supposed to know?
Exactly.
I was thinking maybe we could ask an animal what's in there.
Oh,
Like maybe a
yeah, no,
bat
do
that
that.
lives in there.
I could turn into an animal and just check it out.
That could work.
That works too. If you could get in there, see if it's even worth getting into. And if it's not, then we can skip the cave, fire, steal from the tent while they go try to put out the fire, release the hostages, Amscray.
Where-
That's
where-
iconic for
Is
Pretty good plan.
get the fuck out.
is
Oh,
is
wha-
there
How do you spell that? She pulls out her book.
Huh.
Scray. Right.
That must be a cognate. It's the same in Infernal.
Get the fuck out.
Is there a way we can do this without setting things on fire or like potentially hurting people or like making Drossum upset?
I was kind of gonna ask that. Maybe can we just make sure that the fires are in tents that don't have people in them, and then where are we going after we set the fire to the tents?
Well, if we set the fires to the guard towers, we just make sure everybody's not in those.
Yeah.
There's probably gonna be a guard in there, though, right?
Not if we cause a commotion.
Well, if I knock out the guard, or one of us knocks out the guard, ties him up, puts him somewhere else, sets the guard tower on fire.
I mean, I can be in disguise. I'm still in disguise. No time limit on that. I just made this. I'm gonna run up to a guard tower, knock him out, take him down, and be the guard. I just have to get down before you set it on fire. That's one of them.
Yeah. I've got climbing equipment to get up there too.
Still not 100% on the setting things on fire plan.
Listen. You go, Pod.
I like to think that they both said listen at the same time.
There's an old saying, if you're gonna make an omelet, you gotta set some things on fire.
I don't think that's how that goes, but I get where you're going with it, and I'm here for it.
I mean, it's true.
I mean, you do have to cook the eggs.
What if I don't like omelets?
I've never set eggs on fire, though.
Listen, Leo, if you want to smoke some weed, you've got to set some things on fire.
Okay, listen. Anyway.
We'll try to keep the damage to a minimum, but these are evil cultists that are going around setting. I mean, they set an entire town on fire, or we're going to until we stop.
Not everyone. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the way that cults work. I've read a lot about them. I mean, sometimes in like fiction books, they sometimes have cults. But from what I understand about cults is they can take regular, ordinary people and make them think that what they're doing is the right thing when it's not really the right thing. So a lot of them might not be evil at all, just maybe some of the higher ups. So like, if we can like get some of the not evil ones and de-brainwash them.
So what?
Like that girl Maya I was talking to, she was real nice.
So what you're suggesting then is, don't hurt the lackeys. Go for the people on top. So set the big tent on fire.
Half dragons. At least one of them might have fire resistance.
What color were they?
What color were they?
Well, there's Drosa, and then the new one that I met was black scaled.
We're good.
Oh, and then there was another person. They had this big, like, bright red robes on, and then they had this big, like black dragon mask thing. Their name was Joss.
Human?
Human?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
I think so.
Either way, if anyone here is the asshole, it's got to be one of the three of them.
I found that lots of assholes like to dress up like they're important. So if we go by that, then probably all of them are assholes. Although if you go by that, then I'm an asshole. Am I an asshole?
You're
no.
not.
Okay.
Listen, no one has to get hurt. We're just trying to, it's mostly smoke and we're just trying to make them panic enough so we can get the innocent people out.
And if they do get hurt, that's on them for not, for kidnapping innocent people and not getting out on time. Like, maybe they shouldn't be kidnapping innocent people.
If they don't have a fire safety protocol here, that honestly speaks more to their organization's failings and may be will convince some of them that this isn't a safe work environment.
Yeah, maybe Fantasy OSHA will like step in and say something.
Exactly.
They've been pretty silent for a very long time, so I don't really see them jumping in at this point. But I mean, it's always good to be
Right.
hopeful.
They really kind of do just let a bunch of things go. Huh.
Well, either way, why don't we start with the first part of the plan? Leo.
Right, Leo turned into a bat.
Well, I can't turn anything that flies yet, but I can turn into like a mouse or
What
a
sees real good in
ferret
the dark?
or
Do voles see good in the dark? I feel like they
I
do.
think so. Hold on.
Maybe a rat.
Well, here's a question for the druid who
Raccoon.
has her sheet pulled
Raccoon.
up. I know you retain some things in wild shape and it's different from polymorph. Do you retain your senses like dark vision and
I
stuff?
don't think so unless the animal has dark vision.
Okay.
But I think
Because-
raccoons have dark vision.
It's been so long since I played a druid.
Let's see.
I think you retain your intelligence, your charisma, and your wisdom, but you get all
And
the
you
other
replace your
physical
physical stats.
aspects of the
That would
stats,
make
yeah.
sense. I'll say I'm not gonna go looking for a bunch of animal character sheets unless you want to. So if you could think of something that reasonably would be able to see well in the dark, that's fine with me.
Raccoon,
Raccoon's a good one.
A raccoon?
trash panda.
Or a cat.
Yeah, a cat would work.
Well, it does
Bat
say
that can't fly.
A crawling bat.
That's a
ground
rat.
bat.
That's a
Ground
rat.
It's a grat.
A rugrat. If you will.
But nope, can't go any further. We're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, can
Between
we
the
start
weed
there?
joke and the Rugrats theme.
That's the
That's what's
final
gonna
nail
do
in
it.
the coffin that took Game Nights down. They sang
That
the
was it.
entire Rugrats theme.
I'm gonna shut up now.
Listen, we survived the lawsuits from the Randy Savage Foundation. We can survive this too.
It's true. It's true. What are you thinking, Morg?
I'm trying
Now
to
looking at a list of beasts.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out what has dark vision because there's so many animals in real life that have like infrared vision and dark vision and stuff
But
like
they don't in
that.
D&D. Apparently,
But I'm-
cats don't have dark vision in D&D.
No,
Which is
most of these don't,
ridiculous.
but a lot of
Can
them have
we-
like the keen senses thing.
Can we fight Wizards of the Coast about that and say that they're wrong?
They're wrong about a lot of things. I feel
they
no
are
guilt
wrong.
saying they're also wrong about this.
What if I make you a tiny torch?
I'm gonna say, because many of these have like keen sight or like keen smell or something like that. I'm gonna say, if it's got that, it can probably see pretty good in the dark. So you'll be okay there. So anything like, I don't know what the challenge rating is that you can go up to, but like a rat, for example, has keen smell, but a lot of them have like keen sight, like eagles and stuff. So anything like that, you'll be fine.
Where is this list?
Oh, I'm on the dungeon website here. I'll link this in the Roll20 chat. If you guys haven't used this website, it's killer. They have a whole monster list and you can filter it at the top by type and by challenge rating, and they just give you a whole list. It's wonderful. So that's what I use for wild shapes and stuff.
Cool.
And it's got at least the monster manual and Volos. And something else. I'll put it in the chat too, because this is a fucking good
Good shit.
website. I put it in the chat. It's spelled DON Jon. If you type that in, usually you'll go to it.
Well, a lizard has dark vision, so I'll just turn into a lizard.
Perfect.
Hey.
I stand this website. It's great. It's got all kinds of shit. Magic items, dungeon generators.
The donjon is also what they call that, like, extra dimensional space on the inside of an astral dreadnought. It's called the DONJON, donjon. A little bit of trivia for you.
Oh,
I'm gonna shut the fuck up now.
that's fun. Okay. So Leo, you, unless there's anything else you all would like to talk about.
So just to clarify, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Just to clarify, Leo's gonna go check in there to see if there's anything worth taking.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna come back, and then we're gonna decide what we're doing. Yes?
Yeah. And just in case, I can, should I do the mind thing with you instead? In case something goes bad in there?
That's probably a good idea.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
So, I'll spend one of my dice and, connect with Leo instead of Marta.
Okay.
Well, Leo turns into a little green lizard with red markings.
I love it.
That's so
Right.
3 hours
Leo,
on
you
that.
turn into 3 hours. Okay. You turn into a little lizard. I was looking at the movement speed of a lizard. Not bad though. 20 feet, climbing 20 feet. It's pretty good. And Leo, you as a green, red marked lizard, make your way toward the cave at the back of the camp. You're very little. So as you approach, everything obviously is very large to you. Just inside the entrance to this cave are two humanoid figures. You've seen many of them before. You've now heard them referred to as dragon claws, so I'm going to stop referring to them as humanoid figures in black cloaks and silver pointed masks and refer to them as dragon claws, because that's a lot less to say. But these cultists with the large masks, you see two of them standing just inside. I was going to have them roll, but I don't know that they would care if they saw a lizard walking past them in a cave. So I think you probably just pop on through. You can climb upon the walls if you wish, that kind of thing. So you have a little bit of a climb speed. But you make your way in.
Definitely going to climb on the walls because I don't want to be stepped on.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Let's see. Cave music. You make your way in through this entrance and sort of back into this cave. And you can see very, very quickly as you go through, this cave goes back quite a ways. It cuts off a couple of different directions. Off to your right, there's sort of a passage that thins out, that sort of goes around one corner. And the back wall of it is all sort of rocky and kind of folded over. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. Let's see. What is my perception? That's an 11.
Okay. So you look around for a bit. You don't see anything sort of across these back walls or anything. But as you make your way, kind of climbing across the rocky walls around the corner, to your right, you see 3 more passages that cut off different ways, one in front of you, one to the left, one to the right, that go sort of deeper into this cave, presumably.
I don't sense anything different about any one of them.
Hold on. You do. Yep, had to think about it. Roll me a nature check.
Okay, let's see. That is dirty 20.
Okay. You don't notice anything I think particularly odd about the passages in front of you. You can sort of peer down them. You can see through a couple of these passages like torchlight flickering at sort of the end of them where they go around the corner or something like that. But then you, as you're sitting there sort of trying to figure out which one you should go down or whether you should travel down one of them at all, you smell something. It is sort of this on the breeze that is coming through the cave entrance sort of wafts the smell towards you, and there is this strange, sort of earthy at first smell, and as you look around, try to figure out where it's coming from, you move your way back to that cave wall. That's all the rocks are sort of like folded in on each other, and you come across a passage that is pretty thin. A person probably sideways could fit through it, but it's well hidden sort of by the rock outcroppings here. And you look through it and you see a room that is it's been hidden behind this wall essentially, but you see a set of stairs that is sort of going down into a large, almost what looks like garden of mushrooms. And you catch that smell again, stronger this time. And it is mostly sort of that very earthy smell that mushrooms will give when you get near them. But then you smell just the faintest aftertouch of almost like rot. And you're familiar with these little guys. They are called violet fungi. And they are wonderful, wonderful little mushroom friends who don't need sunlight or warmth or anything like that to grow. They often grow underground. And they often spawn from organic matter that has recently died.
Is it dangerous or is it just mushrooms?
It can be if you get too close to them. But you do see sort of past this this mushroom garden another passageway that is sort of moving even farther back, like directly back into this plateau somewhere.
Just like to pod. So this is going really far back. Should I just like keep going, or I'm not finding any like treasure or anything?
I mean, if it keeps going, then You might as well check out the whole thing.
Right. There's just a lot. Okay, I'll be back.
What's she see? Is it pretty? What's in there?
I don't know. She just asked if she should keep looking.
Oh. Okay.
Marta wants to know if you see anything pretty.
Oh yeah, the really pretty mushrooms. You don't want to like touch them or anything, but like and they usually grow on dead things, but really nice mushrooms.
Is she safe?
She said she saw some pretty and dangerous mushrooms. So yeah, I think she's fine.
Why are the mushrooms dangerous?
I don't know.
I don't like the whole mushroom thing.
Just
Tell her stay away from the
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
They said stay away from the mushrooms, though. I'm sure you already know that.
Oh yeah. Is there a way through the mushrooms without touching them or getting close to them to the other passage?
There is. So next to these stairs, they're sort of like wooden stairs that look like they were built here later on, perhaps to get down to the mushrooms. Next to that, sort of on the far left side of this cave, there is one path where it looks like it has been like trampled down enough to where you could probably walk on it safely. You just have to be careful of getting too close to the mushrooms that are sort of spread out to the right of it.
Do I know what happens if I get near the mushrooms?
Probably. So these fungi, yeah, you rolled really high. I was looking for what the DC was for this, but you rolled really high. Not going to spend a lot of time reading this book. They essentially, what they look like are these large, like purple pods. They're almost like teardrop shaped. Some of them are pretty small, like normal mushroom sized. Some of them in here, especially towards the center of the room, are very, very large. I mean, talking like 4 or 5 feet tall, with these huge sort of pods on the ends. And you know that they have a over time, fungi like this, especially like plants that develop in underground regions like the Underdark and things like that, have to develop pretty intense defense mechanisms because of some of the other things that live down there and will eat them. And so these little guys have some stalks. They almost look like little tentacles that protrude out from them. And if you get too close, if they sense that you've gotten too close to them, they will lash out at you and can cause some pretty significant damage, considering their whole thing is to grow from decay and then cause it so they can grow more from decay.
Cool.
Are they on the walls or just on the floor?
Just on the floor.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick to the wall and go to that path against the wall and just follow that.
Yeah, you can do that easily enough, especially with a climb speed. So you make your way around most of the fungus easily enough. The smell gets pretty intense, I think right around the middle part of the cavern, and you're about halfway across. But you press on, and you can see directly ahead of you is another sort of large cavern that this cave system opens up into. But on either side of you are sets of these wooden stairs that again have been sort of hastily constructed that make their way down sort of deeper into the earth.
I guess I'll follow that down.
Okay, you want to go left or right?
Hey, Pod, left or right?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna go left.
Okay. You you stick to the walls mostly, following these wooden stairs down into a mostly a dead end. There's another set of stairs across the room that goes up somewhere else. You guys sent Leo into a whole ass dungeon by yourself.
I'm starting to realize that.
You make your way down into this this room that is sort of sunken down on a lower level. And there are several beds scattered around in this room. There are straw mattresses. There's some furs laying around. There are some like food scraps and like old wine skins and things just sort of like scattered around. There's no one in here. There are some like rats and like a couple of lizards like scurrying around, getting into like leftover food and bits and things like that.
Can I go back and go right?
Sure. You go back up and you head down the other set of stairs. You see inside this room, which is larger than the other, what looks like a shrine. There are some oil lamps scattered around that have been lit, and you can kind of see at the back of this room, this sunken area, and taking up a lot of it, there is this large stone statue of a dragon. This dragon has 5 heads, each one painted a different color. But one of them on this particular shrine is much bigger and more prominent than the rest. And it is the one that is painted black. You also see in front of this shrine where there are other pieces, sort of other smaller statues, other things. It looks like a lot of things have been left here. A lot of them seem to be centered around this theme of the black dragon. You also see 2 people, kind of, in the dim light, kneeling in front of this shrine. You see 2 very large, sort of bulky humans, probably, each of them with large axes strapped to their backs. They're wearing leathers. One of them has like what looks like what's left of like a bear pelt draped over their shoulders. They don't notice you because you're lasered, but they're sort of kneeling in front of this shrine quietly.
There's no other way out of the room. It's another kind of dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Pod,
Yeah, did you find it yet?
what am I looking for?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
so
said
what
you
I
know when you saw it.
what I did find was a big like shrine with a 5-headed dragon on it, with like a different colored heads and like a big black head, and like there's some people here.
Okay.
Is this
Maybe-
important?
It sounds important. Yeah, sounds important. Maybe we should try to come in there with you.
Yeah, or maybe we just don't Don't at all. Either one's good.
No, that definitely sounds like something that we should get rid of or learn more about.
They have giant axes.
Well, we have magic. Magic usually beats axes.
Usually, recently, not so much.
Well,
That was a
magic that
spear.
people good at magic use
Hey.
usually beats axes.
Right. I'm gonna go check out one more thing real quick, and then I'll head back, and we can figure out what to do.
Okay.
I want to go back to the room on the left, and then just real quick scurry up those stairs on the other side, just to see where they led out.
Yeah, you go through. You scurry up the stairs. It's pretty easy, and you come out into another part of this cave. It goes off to your right, and again continues sort of back into the plateau. But you see a couple of things in here. There are a few kobolds who are, for the most part, standing guard. Because at one end of the room, you can see there's like a ledge that drops off. It drops about 10 feet down, and then sort of keeps extending back. And there are a few very large iron cages scattered about down there. And inside all of these cages are those very, very large, sort of mastiff-sized drakes, like the ones that you saw before in Greenest. And there are a few kobolds sort of milling around, talking amongst themselves.
Just gonna head back the way I came, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, after a few minutes, you can head back, up the stairs, down the stairs, upstairs, around the corner, and through that short or that thin passage in the wall and back toward the cave entrance.
Okay, gonna scurry back to the tent where everyone is and turn back into a half elf.
So a altar.
Yeah, and then there was like a whole other room with like kobolds and like some of those drakes and cages and stuff, and then there was like a whole other branches of stuff that I didn't even check out, but there's like a lot of stuff down there. Like, I don't know if I could like look at all of it by myself.
I think we need to go down there then.
Do we really though?
Yeah, definitely.
What are we gonna do down there?
Well, I guess if they've got a shrine down there, we should probably like fuck that up.
What would that do?
I don't know, magic stuff.
I thought shrines were just like symbols.
For magic stuff.
Okay.
I mean,
That's
big
all
five-headed
magic?
dragon sounds pretty bad.
But you said one of the heads was bigger.
Yeah, the black one.
Have we ever heard anything about a big 5-headed dragon with lots of different colored heads? Dungeon
Maybe.
Master?
I mean,
Never
it's
heard
possible.
about that in my life.
You guys want to roll religion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, or
Sure.
history. History
History.
will also work.
Hey! Okay.
Trained in neither.
Marta got an 18 on knowing something. I'm so proud of her.
Got a 12.
7.
I get to add my proficiency bonus to anything I roll that I'm not trained in because I'm a bard.
Hey, bard doing bard.
Doing bard stuff. Doesn't matter. I got what is bonus? It's like 2, so I get to add 1. I got a 7.
7.
Seven twins.
Pod and Gladness sounds familiar. Sure, you've heard stories about it. Can't quite place it. Leo, I think as soon as Marta says this, you remember probably having read about this before. It's a pretty popular being of legend, I would say, that probably has made her way into many a story that you have read. Marta, I think it clicks immediately. You've heard of Tiamat.
Oh, that's right.
Tiamat, the evil dragon goddess of greed and queen of the dragons.
Oh, that's Tiamat. She's queen of the dragons.
Yeah, I've definitely
Definitely
read
heard
about
that.
her.
I'm pretty sure Tiamat had 6 heads.
Oh, she had
Yeah.
5. There's
No, I'm pretty sure it was 6.
a red one.
I'm with Pod. I
and
think
a
it was
blue
like 6.
one, and a green one, and a black one, and a white one.
You're missing the purple one.
Yeah.
There's no
There-
purple ones.
There's no
I
purple
have never
one.
heard of a purple
Listen,
dragon.
if you had told me a 6-headed dragon, I would have said, yeah, that's Tiamat, definitely. You said 5-headed. That's not Tiamat.
That
Those are
is,
the only 5 heads.
it's Tiamat.
Well, agree to disagree. Either way, big bad dragon.
But why? But I thought all the heads were the same for Tiamat. Why is this one? Why is the black one big?
Well, isn't there a black half dragon at this camp?
You think it's her shrine? So she's like, oh, the black head's got to be bigger because.
Well, maybe not hers, but like linked to her.
Oh, I bet
Like-
Drosa wouldn't like that very much then.
Either way, was there more down there that you weren't able to explore? Leo,
What?
was there more down there you weren't able to explore?
Yeah, I did say that there were some other passages that I didn't really get around to.
I bet there's some good stuff down there then.
I don't think so, but if you insist.
Don't people donate like treasure and food and money to shrines, especially a greed shrine?
Well, I didn't see like a lot of like there was some stuff donated to the shrine, but it was usually like Black Dragon related stuff. So
Maybe we do this then. Let's change around the plan. Distraction, so we can get into the cave. Free the prisoners. Cause a commotion. We sneak into cave during the chaos.
well
I could be
then
down for that.
when it's time to leave the cave, how are we gonna get back out?
We just gotta be quick, I guess, before they're able to. I mean, they're probably, if the prisoners get away, they're probably gonna spend a bit of time trying to track them down. And I trust Leosin to get them to safety and fight off anyone that comes after them. But
So how are we
Yeah.
gonna get the prisoners free?
I mean, I
Do
could
another trial by combat.
No,
They let the other prisoners free that way.
because that went solo
Nope.
the first time.
I mean, I'll fight Drosa this time.
What if Glad starts the fire at the guardhouse, like we were saying. I sneak over and untie Leosin and the others. Maybe Marta and Leo, you make sure that everyone in the tent
Are they tied up or are they chained up?
But some were in cages and some were tied to posts.
No, they're all chained to posts.
They're all chained to posts. I'm gonna have to pick some locks, but if you give me some time, I can do it. Or we steal the keys. If you can find out who has those.
Well, they said that Resmir, the black scale half dragon, is in charge of the camp, so she probably has them.
All right. I can go try
Didn't
this.
Drosa say that they try to get everyone around the campfire singing songs? He said that on the walk, right?
Yes, he did.
Well, maybe we just get everybody in the camp real drunk, and then we can do all this when everyone's, like, intoxicated.
That's a good idea.
That's not a bad idea, Marta.
That's actually a pretty good idea, yeah.
Thanks!
Especially if we poison the drinks.
No.
Isn't alcohol already a poison?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're just nudging it over a little bit.
No.
Oh, so like moonshine.
Sure. Could you do anything to make the alcohol with us with magic, like make it like have an extra kick?
Not to that many people.
Well, I think mostly the head honchos. Mostly Resmir. We could make sure she gets.
I
drunk.
forgot to tell you. I got the best news. So, the girl I was talking to before, when we were walking over, she says she thinks Resmir has a crush on Leosin. I don't know, maybe we could use that to our advantage.
What?
She said that she thinks that Resmir, the one that's in charge of the camp, really likes Leosin. Because, like, she's, like, fighting with him all the time and, like, still wants to keep him around. So she thinks that she has a crush on him.
I don't.
Oh, that's so
think
cute.
That's that doesn't sound right to me.
Why not? He's real handsome.
Hold on, I have a few things to think about.
I know Leosin pretty well, and I don't think he dated Resmir. I think I would have remembered that.
Well, maybe they dated before she made him a prisoner. Maybe it was like a fling.
Okay.
And then she got mad and she locked him up.
Okay. So how do we use that then?
I don't know. I just figured we might get her, like, talking about it after she's had a couple drinks.
Okay. Well, can the two of you distract her?
Which two?
Any two of you. I just assume two of you would probably be able to do that.
I can talk to her.
I can also talk to her. I'm concerned about Marta being the only one talking to her.
I'm concerned about Marta talking to anyone.
Why?
You're not the
You're
best
just-
at lying.
Well, I don't have to lie. I just have to get her talking and telling the truth, right?
Lying usually helps.
Why? I just tell her I want to know stuff because I do. She seems really interesting.
Because, Marta, you're just too friendly, and sometimes people get jealous of your friendliness, and they think that they need to defend themselves against that, because sometimes that kind of friendliness is disarming, and you have to bring it back in and go, wow, this person is just such a friendly person. I need to realize that that's something that I like. And they have a hard time doing that. So we need to make sure that your friendliness doesn't disarm somebody in a way that they're not able to communicate.
Am I too friendly?
No, not at all. It's other people's problem, not yours.
Marta has an existential crisis.
My brain hurts from this conversation. I'm gonna let you all decide how to get everyone drunk and get this to work so I can do some rogue shit. Okay?
Oh, I'm really good at getting people drunk. I mean,
Cool.
myself included in that, but like, I find that if you have like some people who are like really getting into the party mood, then it gets everyone kind of in that mood.
Leo.
Mhm.
What if we pull the old one too?
On Resmere?
Hmm.
Well, if she has a crush on Leosin, then that might not work, but we can try.
That's exactly why it would work. If she has a crush on somebody else, we'd figure that out and have a weakness.
All right. So we'll get everyone drunk, and then Glad and I will talk to Resmere.
Okay. Can't go wrong.
Marta, just be friendly, just like I said.
No,
You said not to be too friendly.
Not to Resmere, but to everybody else.
Am I supposed to be mean to her?
No. We're going to be talking to her. So you just need to be nice to everybody else around her just so that they know that you're a friendly person to be around.
just to clarify, are we getting drunk too?
No.
No.
Oh,
I don't
Okay.
drink.
me neither.
That's
That's a lie.
I saw you drinking yesterday.
Right. It's just a reflex. Okay. Let's start doing this thing and not drinking.
Okay. With a plan set in motion, you all wait it out. It's already evening at this point, so you don't have that long to wait. But before we get to, oh boy, whatever this is going to turn into, which I'm sure is going to be something, let's go ahead and take our break because we're about at our halfway point, and I just accidentally knocked an entire Xbox controller onto my foot, and I think I'm dying.
It's my.
I'm fine.
Owie.
Luckily, it's a corded controller, so it's not as heavy because it doesn't have batteries.
Okay.
But it hurt.
good.
Very bad. The internet didn't need to know that. I just thought I would share what's going on with me right now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, 5-10 minutes at most, and we will come back. And welcome back, internet. Thank you for hanging out with us during our break. We have refreshments, we have stretched, some of us have ice cream, and we are ready to have a little cult party around the campfire. Is there anything else you guys want to do before the sun goes down?
Well, my two options right now are look like me, and Londragosa knows what I look like, or wear a cult thing. And I'm assuming most cultists, after hours, are not going to be wearing their cult uniform. So I need someone to look like.
I mean, if it's a work party, they might still be in their uniform. You never know.
That's true. They just never go home still in their work clothes. Like,
Hard to say.
Are you doing like a disguise self thing?
it would be either a disguise self or using my disguise kit, which I like
You
still have a
could
lot of.
make yourself look like Oron, Leo's brother. That might be weird though with the con that they're doing.
That might be weird with the con that they're running, yes. I could do the thing that Claude usually does, which is just human himself.
That seems slightly less conspicuous, yeah.
Yeah. So Glad is just gonna cast Disguise Self, effectively making him look like himself but human, and like put his hair in a braid.
Okay, so no horns, rounded ears, no pointy teeth.
Regular
kind of
white
thing.
person instead of marble white person.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So you wait till shortly before sundown, cast Disguise Self, sort of braid your hair back. Yeah, you look. I think with the changing of the skin tone and everything, probably look pretty markedly different. Okay. Anything else?
I have an hour.
Can Pod just
I assume
do
you
some,
waited until like the last possible second.
Can Pod just do some scouting? Just because it wants to confirm that like Rezmir has the keys, who all like the guard shifts, like who's where, before we get started on this.
Sure. Just go ahead and roll an investigation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna use one of my dice. We didn't get a short rest earlier with when we were waiting around for Leo, I assume.
I guess the rest of you could have. She was gone for a little bit.
Okay.
So if you would have gotten anything back from a short rest.
Everything! Yay!
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she was gone for a while and you guys aren't really doing anything.
I'm gonna use one of my dice to boost this because that's a 13.
Okay.
That's an 18.
Okay. Yeah, you pick up a couple of things. The prisoners are guarded, seems like, round the clock. As long as you've been here, how long have you guys been here? A couple hours at this point. Probably like 3 hours or so since you've been bopping around and things. I'll say the guards have changed once since you arrived, and they haven't changed since then. So they're at least on for a couple of hours at a time. At all times, they are, it seems like, shackled. Essentially to they all seem to be shackled to like what is a single chain. So there's like a lock for each of them, and that chain is then attached to a post that is nearby. They have shorter chains. They have a little bit of movement, so they're not just like stuck sitting in one spot. They can get up and walk around and that kind of thing, but not very far. Except for Leosin, who's on his own little chain right next to the post, because he's a troublemaker. This evening, and for as long as you've seen them, they are guarded by no less than 4 of these dragon claws. So again, that's the folks in the robes and the masks. You haven't seen any of them with keys, but there hasn't really been an occasion for them to use them, so you're not sure whether or not any of them carry them. But I think at one point, Rezmir has emerged from the tent and has sort of made her way around, sort of checked on the prisoners, kind of made her way through the camp. She does carry a keyring.
Okay. And are there always 2 guards at the cave entrance?
Yes. There are always 2 guards at the cave entrance. There's a dragon claws as well. And there is also an honor guard that Marta saw before around that large tent that is near the cave entrance. So there's always at least 4 of them there. And most of the time there are at least a couple of these big drakes that are there as well. Those are the ones that are like mastiff size, the big lizards.
Okay. And can we tell how many guards are on the guard posts, like the watchtowers?
Yeah, there's usually 1 or 2 up top, and then 2 or 3 that sort of hang out. They change pretty often, sort of switching back and forth between themselves. It's usually a group of like 4 or 5 that are either on or around the tower. Every so often, one of them switching, coming down, another one climbing up. But they stay in pretty close proximity, presumably so that if anything happens, the ones up top will see it. The ones down below can run pretty easily and inform someone of what's happening.
Pod will relay this information to the rest of the group so we know which ones to see if we can draw away with the distraction if possible. Mostly the ones around the tent and the ones around the prisoners.
I guess I could put little tokens on the map for them.
So we want to lead them away from the prisoners in the big tent?
Yeah.
So we want our distraction to be on the other side of camp?
Yeah, close to, yeah. Somewhere that would make them go somewhere else. Close enough that they're sort of tempted to go to it. They don't feel like they're going too far off. But far enough away that they won't notice if I sneak over there. I'd say probably, yeah, if we had if we did it like right here, in between the 2 areas, they might come and join, not feeling like they're abandoning their posts to do that.
So what we gonna do?
I'm leaving
Any
the party
ideas?
stuff up to Glad and Leo here. They seemed like they had a plan.
Oh, yeah. We're basically just going to cause a scene. We know how to do that pretty easily between the 2 of us. And bring it that... Do you want us to bring it that direction? We can bring it that direction.
Yeah. I know a couple of kobolds that might be able to get some of the others to join. Maybe get the party started that way.
You could tell them to start going fight.
Okay, are we going with the aggressive route here, or just like fun, happy time thing? How are we starting this party? Where are we getting the alcohol from?
Well, I do think that Londragosa was going to have at least some sort of campfire situation. Leo, did he imbibe? Did he enjoy the drink? Was that his thing? You're muted.
Yeah, he loves mead.
Okay, perfect.
Leo, could you convince him to have the party up around here so that could maybe convince him to get the guards involved? Maybe say they've been working pretty hard. They need to relax.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I go do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. goes to find him.
Okay. Yeah, he's easy to spot. Again, I think he's probably making some rounds at this point. He gets very bored in the tent with all the planning, probably. So it's sort of making the rounds around the tents, making sure everybody is set up, and that kind of thing. So you approach. He smiles. You hear him from a mile away. Leo.
Drosa, well, you were mentioning when we were walking on the road earlier that you do kind of like a party of some sort, or like a campfire songs and stuff like that, you know, just to like, keep spirits up when everyone's here.
Yes, we'll be gathering shortly, I think. I was actually just sending a couple of our recruits there out to make sure we had enough firewood.
Oh, perfect. Well, can't wait. A couple of us were thinking, you know, with the guards and stuff, you know, a lot of them, you know, don't get as big of breaks or get to partake as much. So we were kind of thinking that we could hold whatever shenanigans we get into over there so that they can kind of, you know, be involved and have fun without completely abandoning their posts.
Is Longdedrosa afraid of change? Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Okay. That is a 21.
Okay. You say this, and he listens, kind of nodding along, like he does. Make sure he's paying attention, and he sort of brightens. An excellent idea. Yes, we do want to make sure everyone is involved and staying happy amongst all things. Yes. Did you have a spot picked out?
Yeah, right between two, just like over there.
You pointed out, and he nods. All right. Yes, we'll set up the fire over there tonight then.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you there.
All right. Yes, I'll see you soon.
Bye. Okay.
Goodbye. He turns back to whatever he was doing. All right. They start to set up a big campfire, almost like a big bonfire, over in the spot where you guys. So where exactly? Where are you guys planning on having this? All right, like between the tent and the prisoners, the big tent and the prisoners.
Like I say, okay. I think I don't know the scale. That's like 300 feet. So I was thinking close enough that.
Yeah, there's a key at the bottom, but I haven't used it.
So like 200 feet from either one, so enough to like maybe they don't feel like they're shirking their duties if they come to have a drink.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so you set up a big bonfire right in the space, and as night falls, the fire is lit and everyone begins to gather around it. Let's see what I got in here. That'll work. A couple of folks, as people begin to congregate around this bonfire, some food is brought out. A couple of casks of mead and ale are brought out. A couple of folks sort of off to the side, where they've rolled up what is it? Essentially like a big log, like that was presumably going to be chopped up for firewood at some point, but they've sort of rolled it up and are sitting on it, have pulled out a couple of instruments and just begun to play softly at first off to one side, and people mingle and chat, and for a while stop working. What do you all do?
Is Reznir here?
I don't think at first you see her.
Cool. Well, Glad is going to be sort of sitting off to the side, trying his best to be unassuming, and kind of just like strumming a little bit on his lute that he brought with him, because he brings it everywhere. Because at a campfire party situation, I think that would be pretty welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I think there are a couple of other folks that have sort of pulled out instruments. One of them has a drum. I think one of them has a harp. And if they see you do this, they would recognize the only other person at the party that brought an instrument.
Game recognizes game. Mm-hmm.
They approach you kindly, kind of sit down, and one of them sort of sits next to you, sort of in the grass, cross-legged, kind of drum in his lap. So, you're new.
Yep. Just joined up recently. Thought that this kind of group could always use a little bit more merriment.
Nice. You ever play with a band before?
Once or twice, but not usually my thing, but I'm always open to it.
Well, all right. Well, let's see what you got then. We'll back you up.
Sounds good to me. And you just kind of play this lute.
Play a little bit. Go ahead and make a performance check.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Let's see. Oh my goodness, cats.
We got a bard. We got to.
Great. That is 16.
Okay, yeah. You play, I assume, pretty quietly, trying not to draw too much attention, but very skillfully, as usual. And the other two sort of follow your lead, not making a scene, just kind of picking up on your vibe a little bit, I think, and just kind of play quietly, backing you up a little bit, and sort of nice sort of melody wafts through the camp, but you don't make a big scene or anything like that. What are the rest of you doing?
I think Leo is like handing out mead and like getting people like excited about drinking.
Shots, girl, Leo.
About drinking. Go ahead and just make me a charisma check.
Oh God. Okay. That's a 4. So she's not doing a good job of it.
One's really listening. Go ahead.
Can I use this, since I'm right there playing music, I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration. You get a d6 to add to that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, that was not, well, that might make it to 10, but we'll see. That's not the right one. That adds 2, so now it's a 6.
If you don't want it, you can save it for another roll, but I'm giving you bardic inspiration for this situation.
I mean, I already rolled it.
Yeah. It's DM's discretion here.
If you want to hang on to it, you can.
Okay.
Just I guess from my perspective, it's not gonna get that much better.
Yeah, no. I'll just save it.
That's fine. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, Leo, I think you find that in this particular situation, people are really just not paying attention to you at all. For better or worse. I think they're moving past it. Occasionally somebody, I think, will like take a flagon from you or whatever. But I think you find you're new, and most people assume that means you're very low in the hierarchy and just aren't really paying that much attention, aren't aren't noticing what you're doing.
That's probably for the best.
What's Marta doing? She's muted.
She's muted at the
First of
moment.
all.
I think she is off to the side with her tome. Just trying to make sense of everything that's been going on today and what's been said. Because now she's not sure that she should talk to anybody because she's too friendly. But how's she supposed to know if she's too friendly if she doesn't talk to people? But if she doesn't talk to people at all, does that mean that she's not friendly? Does that mean she's being mean? And she's just trying to write it all out to Baz and figure out what to do.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So you're-
And then no, it's
Or it's having a
fantastic. Please.
crisis.
Yeah, just an existential crisis. And in
Okay.
the meantime, she takes out a little jeweler's kit, and she starts making maybe a little necklace or a little bracelet or something. She's just kind of got like a loop in one eye, and she'll start working on that too in between. Journaling and waiting for something to happen. She's waiting for a party to figure out what's going next.
Okay. So Marta, you are sitting there. Sorry, I was reading something. You sit for a while, and futz with your jeweler's kit, kind of in between your journaling and everything. And I think you're working on like a particularly like finicky little piece, trying to keep your mind off of things. When from beside you on the log you are sitting on, I don't know that you noticed anyone approaching you, but you suddenly hear a voice. Well, that's lovely.
Who said it?
Sitting next to you, there is a person with a deep sort of royal blue cloak with a hood that they've pulled up to conceal their face, and sort of traveling clothes like breeches, tall leather boots, that kind of thing. Kind of sit there, throw one leg over the other, kind of lean back casually.
Oh,
So what are you working on?
I think it's going to be a bracelet. But if it gets too long, it might be a necklace. I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. Do you sell those?
No, I usually just give them to people.
Well, that's very nice of you.
Do you want one?
Oh, sure. I love pretty things.
Works a little quicker.
So, why the long face?
Oh, no reason.
Well, that doesn't seem true at all. You're sitting here working at a party.
One of my friends said that I might make people uncomfortable.
How so?
Well, they said I might be too friendly, and might make people feel uncomfortable. So I don't know. I thought I'd just try to do something nice that wasn't too friendly.
Well, that seems a bit off base to me.
How do you mean?
Well, I just think, if you find an opportunity to be nice, to be kind, you should take it.
See, that's what I usually do. But what if being too nice is actually being mean?
Do you think it can come all the way back around like that?
To be honest, I hadn't really thought about it till they said something.
You want to know what I think?
Sure.
I think that you, Marta, shouldn't put too much stock in what other people think of you.
How do you know my name?
How do we really know anything?
Usually someone tells you, or you see it, or you learn it like over a long period of time. Like I learned how to make jewelry.
Fair enough. Maybe you've told me before. They sort of lean forward, kind of on their knees, and cock their head to the side. And you can see just a little bit underneath the hood a pretty familiar face. Nose ring, little eyebrow piercing, a little bit of like fuchsia hair kind of poking out underneath the hood. Did you think I was gonna miss a party?
Yes! I'm so happy you're here.
Well, you seem like you needed a bit of a talking to.
Did I?
I don't like it when you frown.
So you don't think I'm too friendly?
Nah. I think people just do things different ways. Maybe this is a problem meant for a different way of doing things. Is all.
Like what?
Well, I mean, you're very good at talking to people and being friendly. Some of your other friends are also very good at talking to people, but with a different manner of speaking.
With drinking?
Oh, that too.
I don't drink.
Hey, that's all right, though. That's why we do things with friends, right? Partners, teams. Everybody's good at something different.
Right. Do you like this one?
You know I do.
I had you in mind making it here.
As takes it, puts it on around the wrist, and sort of shuffles their wrist down a little bit, and like 6 other bracelets kind of fall on top of it. Probably all bracelets that you've made at some point.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's nice. Tell you what, I'm gonna have a drink.
Okay.
But I'll be around. Like always. So, you get into any trouble? Well, you know how to find me.
Okay. Have fun.
Hey, you too. Don't sit over here in the dark.
Right.
You're entirely too bright for that. And they stand up, kind of pull their hood down a little bit more, and kind of make their way into the crowd. You very quickly lose sight.
Marta goes up to the music and starts dancing.
And Marta starts to dance. And I think a few other people join in with you. What is Pod getting up to? Anything specific?
Pod was waiting to see if the guards left their stations and if Resmir came out, but isn't going to make his move until that happens.
Okay. So a little bit of time passes. Gladness, you play for a while. The music starts to get a little bit more upbeat. I think the rest of the folks with instruments probably take over, contribute a little bit more. Marta makes her way over and begins to dance. A few people join her, start dancing around the campfire. And while the honor guard that is around the tent, the large tent, doesn't move or seem to change at all, the guards that are around the prisoners do eventually sort of make their way over, kind of to the outskirts of the party, kind of a couple at a time, kind of making their way over, saying hi to people, relaxing a little bit, and then moving back. But I think eventually, Pod, since you're probably the one that is most aware or most kind of like sitting back and scoping out the situation in the rest of the camp, eventually you see from the large tent the very, very large, probably 7.5 foot tall form of the black-scaled half dragon emerge. She stands there for a while, kind of leaning on one of the big posts that is holding up the tent, and then sort of makes her way down, not really engaging with anyone, but kind of finds her way to sort of the edge of the gathering, and kind of finds one of these tent posts to kind of lean against and observe what is going on.
But she seems focused on the party.
Yeah.
Okay. Have the guards by her tent, they're still there though?
They're all still there. Yeah, they haven't moved.
Is there enough? Are they seem to be focused on the entrances, or like if Pod were to sneak up to the side of the tent, might find like an area where he'd like cut his way through?
They're all pretty focused on the front and the sides. I'll say the two drakes are off leash and are just kind of like wandering in that general area. They don't go very far from the tent, but they just kind of they're restless. They essentially behave like dogs. So they'll sit for a while. They'll get up. They'll wander to another side of the tent. They'll roll around the grass for a little bit, that kind of thing. But
okay. Pod is gonna try to get into the tent first.
Okay. So you want to sort of make your way, I assume, around the back?
Yeah, sneak around the back, try to like cut a small slit, or I assume it's like staked to the ground where you wouldn't just be able to like lift it up and sneak underneath. But if you can do that, then he will. Yeah,
you're probably gonna have to cut your way in. Sorry, I have so many sheets open. I have so many things open. So much happened earlier.
Do you have the AC for the tent for me attacking it?
Well, it's a tent, so I'm not gonna have you roll an attack because that would be ridiculous. But what I am gonna do is have you roll a stealth check with advantage, because party, and also you guys kind of set up like it being in this specific place, and Leo had mentioned, let's get the guards in on this. So,
well, the first one I rolled was an 18, so that's a 25.
Jiminy Cricket. Can they even roll that high?
I hope not.
The answer is no, so I'm not going to have them roll. 'Cause I'm not about to sit here and do math that doesn't mean anything. So yeah, you basically disappear into the shadows, sort of pressing up against the that cliff face that leads up to the plateau. Shadows obviously cast over it, and you just sort of make your way around to the back of the tent. very carefully. I assume, do you summon one of your psychic daggers, or you got a regular knife for this?
Can my psychic dagger cut through a tent?
Wow, what a question. No, is
Can
the
I
thing.
upset the tent enough to open for me?
Didn't even think about it. They only do psychic damage, right?
Yeah, they do. I do have
No.
a regular dagger, though.
You need a regular one. Okay, so you one more. You stick the knife through quietly, and I assume just slit the fabric just enough for
Yeah, like as minimal as possible. I mean, Pod's only 2 feet tall, so like an 8-inch cut, and he might be able to shimmy through.
Cool.
But is moving in slowly and kind of opens it up first to make sure there's nobody else inside.
Had to make one more roll for somebody I don't have a character sheet for because I didn't think it would come up. Okay. You obviously it's very bad because what else would it be? I rolled it. You make this this slit in the back of the tent, and you peek through just a little bit, not making a lot of noise. And you see one figure inside the tent. Very tall, humanoid, bald head, bright, sort of crimson robes, tattooed, big gold headdress. They've been described to you before, but they do not seem to notice you.
Is this tent big enough that I might be able to sneak around without them seeing me?
I mean, it's just a tent is the thing. It's pretty well lit in here. They are currently sort of off to one side, sort of like in one corner, kind of reading something. So it's possible. It's not going to be easy.
I mean, I feel pretty good about my 25, but
Okay.
I also don't know. I'm level 3, and I feel like they feel like a higher level than me. Just headwear alone. So I don't know if I could take them down in one stab.
I don't think you're allowed to wear that mask until you're at least level 12, I think is the thing. So
That feels like a higher challenge rating outfit. But would Pod care?
Perhaps Pod might have a creative solution to the
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Where are those? Are one of the guard drakes nearby?
Yeah, one of them has sort of made its way around the side of the tent. I think you can hear it sort of growling a little bit as it, I don't know, rolls around in the grass, probably.
Okay. Is there something within, like, kind of immediately in this hole that Pod cut that Pod could potentially hide in under, like, if Pod ducked inside very quickly?
Yeah, there are a couple of cots that have been set up inside this place, and like a few chairs and things. So there's probably like a chair and a side table that you could theoretically like duck in and behind.
Okay, because here's the idea that I have.
Okay.
What Pod wants to do, since their back is turned and might be able to move in quickly, Pod wants to sort of pull open the flap a little bit, turn around, take a ball bearing out of their bag, chuck it at one of the lizards, and kind of give it like a nah, and then duck inside the tent and hide, so that the lizard might try to chase Pod inside.
Okay. So I love this plan. ball bearings are very small.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get its attention.
Okay, you just want to like peg it with a. I
Yeah,
mean, they're like.
I can throw something. I've got a piton. I can throw one of those at it. It's like a metal stick.
Just trying to decide if a single ball bearing would make it. But you've got something you can throw, I'm sure.
Got a hammer.
Yeah, you. Well, that seems a little extreme.
I can throw a psychic dagger at it.
That also seems a little extreme. Have you tried, I don't know, talking to it? A piton would work, because they're not, I mean, compared to these things, which are scaled, they're not very big, but it would make a significant clunking sound. So you can take one of those.
Okay.
You sort of chuck it. It's not that far away. I'm not gonna have you roll, because it's gonna do something no matter what. So you chuck this like metal chunk at the Drake, and make a face at it, and it sort of immediately like stands, gets on all fours, sort of growls and starts to chase you.
And what Pod does is, as soon as he's thrown it, and as soon as he locks eyes with the Drake and gets his attention, is going to just duck like under the bed, under like just something to hide under, so that when the Drake runs in, hopefully, Pod will be hidden.
Okay, I'll just roll forward your stealth check, because you're doing very good. So yeah, you dive in and sort of make your way very, very quickly, sort of around the edge of the tent, behind this table and underneath one of these cots that has some blankets and furs thrown over it that will obscure you for the most part. You hear this like sort of growling sound and a rip as the Drake sort of rips through the side of the tent and makes its way in, and you hear a voice curse under its breath, and then this red-robed figure who is Joss. At this point, you hear them sort of drop the book that they're holding and stand up, and you hear them speak. You understand Draconic, right? You hear them speak in Draconic, in the attempt to have some kind of like soothing voice. What is wrong with... What's wrong? Why the intrusion? And there is a little bit more growling from the center of the tent, but it quickly sort of fades. And you hear Joss say, "Now, I'll take a look. That seemed rather unnecessary. So go on, back outside with you." And you hear sort of a almost like a grunt of recognition, and the Drake starts to make its way out of the tent again.
Does Joss go with it?
They make their way to, I can assume you're like peeking out so you can see. They make their way to the front opening, the only opening in the tent. And I think you can hear some like just some like vague conversation between them and one of the guard that is right outside as the Drake sort of makes its way. So they're standing sort of like right outside the entrance.
I have two ideas right now. One seems terrible. The other seems reasonable.
Talk it out.
So my first idea is I want to have more time in here. How do I do that? I injure him. How do I do that with him not realizing I have a bear trap? And so my first idea is to very quickly arm, slide the bear trap up like under the rug or something in here, and and then scamper back so that when he comes back across the room, steps on it. But I feel like he's gonna notice a huge bear trap shaped lump in the rug as he walks across the room.
Yes. Probably.
What was the reasonable one?
The reasonable one is to just really quickly sneak over, grab what he can off the table, and then come and get GTFO while he's at the front entrance. That seems much less chaotic.
I mean, say go with that.
It's your choice. You're alone. No one can tell you what to do.
As soon as he crosses the room, or like starts heading towards the door, Pod is going to sneak out, very quickly assess the situation, looking for anything that looks like it would be important to us, like give us an idea of the cult plans. I mean, he was reading a book. If it looks like a journal, or if there's anything that's like cults for dummies, Pod's gonna grab that.
Okay.
Or anything shiny, one of the two.
One of the two?
Or both.
Do you have time to grab?
What does Pod see? And then I can decide what the
I mean, you look around, there's a couple of cots, there's a couple of like end tables with chairs next to them that have been set up. Joss has left the book that they were reading sort of sitting in or on one of the end tables. There's a big map table in the center, which basically just has the map on it, like a quill and ink and that kind of thing. There are a few like bags and knapsacks sitting around, probably with personal belongings in them.
Okay. Nothing that looks like very valuable, though, as far as I'm seeing.
No, not in here.
Okay. What does the book look like? When Pod was watching, was Pod able to see like a title on it or anything?
Probably not a title, but it's an old like leather bound book. It's very large. It's I think probably been left open to some page. I think you can see some kind of like illuminations, like embossing. It's probably some kind of academic book.
Okay. Any letters or anything? Because if Pod can see the map, can remember the map pretty well. So really looking for any correspondence, or we'll just grab the book.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably in one of the nearby knapsacks, there's a bag that is sort of stuffed, like very full of things, probably like some things like tied to the side, sticking out of it, that kind of thing. There are like a few pieces of parchment sticking out.
Pod's gonna grab that knapsack.
Okay.
And the book if he can, and he's getting out there.
Okay, sure. You grab the knapsack and the book, and as Joss starts to make their way back into the tent, you slip out the now hole in the back of the tent that this big drake has made in it, and back around through the shadows, presumably to hide them somewhere or go through them.
Yeah, it's going somewhere quiet away from the party. There's some like bushes somewhere, like trying to get as far away from where everybody else is as possible to kind of dig through the loot and see if there's anything worth keeping.
Okay, yeah, you make your way a bit away and dig through the stuff. The book is essentially an academic history book on like the history of dragons in Faerun, specifically the Sword Coast from the years 1760 to 1935. I don't know what years are in Faerun, so I've just made some up.
I'm pretty sure they're in like the 3000s.
Okay. 3070 to 3256. Does that make the immersion better?
Yes, it does. It makes me feel so much more. It makes the world feel
Okay.
alive. You know I live for numbers.
It's a boring ass book about dragons and history.
That sounds incredible.
No one knows.
Pod wants nothing
I don't
to do with
care.
that.
It's essentially an academic book about dragons covering the last, like, 1,000 years.
If there is a section, if there's an index, if there's a section on black dragons, Pod is ripping those pages out.
Okay. You rip out a chapter of the book.
Yeah. That hurts me to do, but Pod doesn't care. Pod just shoves them in his robe and then rifles through the knapsack.
Okay. You rifle through the knapsack. There's a few things in here. I mean, there's your pretty standard stuff. There's another hunting trap. I don't know that you can carry 2 of those on your backpack. There's some rope. There's some pittons. There's like a essentially what would be like a climbing kit in here. There are 2 potions of healing. And there are some papers. One of them you unscroll, and it is a very simple map, kind of the Greenfields area. So the Greenfields is sort of the area that encompasses Greenest and a couple of other villages. And there are a couple of things drawn on it. There is an arrow sort of sketched in it from the Greenfields toward the west along the trade way, which is what that sort of main road is known as. And then once it hits sort of the next village on the tradeway, the arrow turns north. There is another piece of paper that has a bunch of columns of numbers on it, seemingly indecipherable, probably, to Pod. And then there is also a note along with it, which essentially says, everything must be freighted north to Neratar. Resmir allowed us to keep some pearls, a ring, and a handful of small stones.
What's the spelling on that location?
Naerytar.
Everything must be freighted north to Neratar.
Resmir allowed us to keep some pearls, a ring, and a handful of small stones.
Okay. So that, and then a sheet with numbers on it.
Yeah, essentially several columns of numbers.
Okay. All right. So if Pod loots that for, I guess we'll leave the hunting trap. As I think you're right. Probably couldn't carry another one of those. Barely carry the bag he already has. So we'll pocket the healing potions, the sheet with the numbers, the note, and leave the rest in the bushes.
Okay. I'm going to cut away from Pod back to the main party, as I think at least Gladness has noticed, and probably everybody else at some point, because people are probably murmuring about it, that Resmir has made her way out of her tent and is sort of leaning on a tent post nearby some of the barrels of ale and mead, sort of observing the party that is going on.
Cool. Glad is going to try to do kind of like a bow out of playing music. Like, I'm gonna go get some drinks. You all keep playing. You sound wonderful. I might join back up in a bit.
Sure.
All right, and just kind of wanders away to go find Leo. I don't know where she is.
Where she is. She was slinging drinks for a little bit.
Yeah, I think she gave up on that because I was paying attention to her and found Drosa and was just like listening to whatever he's talking about.
So,
Super.
the thing you need to know about the different swords, right? There are many different types. I don't know the names of most of them, but I can distinguish them. And a couple of things really, and you sort of walk up on this and he's talking about like, so what you have is a very wide straight blade versus a wide curved blade. Those are going to be obviously two very different blades to swing. I'm glad you sort of walk up on this as you're just talking about different sword blades.
Well,
I almost said the words Zweihander and I was like, he doesn't know that word.
What's the biggest sword?
Well, mine, I would imagine.
Oh,
Yeah, that
are we
makes sense.
talking about? Never mind. That's not appropriate. Ma'am, may I borrow you for a moment? It sounds like the band over here just wants to play a song about you.
About me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll bring her back in just a moment, and you can continue your conversation.
I think he's
He's probably gonna follow me, isn't he?
sort of looks at you. You look familiar.
I get that a lot. I have that kind of face.
I imagine so. Well, I would like to hear this song as well. I can imagine that any song written about our dear Leo here would be one for the ages. Shall I get us some mead?
That would be lovely.
Leo?
Yeah, well, I'll...
Just say yes.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Great. I'll join you shortly.
Perfect.
Goes over to the barrels. I don't know, probably opens one with an axe.
Cool. All right, Leo. We're gonna go talk to Resmir. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that completely.
Yep. Perfect. Well, do you want me to lead off or should you?
You should probably lead off.
Should I? Because I think in this particular situation, you might be the better one to lead off.
Yeah, but if she's... Okay, fine.
I'll be there with you. I can jump right in if you need me.
All right. Well, they're gonna walk up to Resmir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The two of you make your way over to Resmir, who I think does have like a mug of something that she is drinking. Yeah, she's not quite as big as Drosa, but is still very large, probably 7.5 feet tall. She's a little thinner than him, a little leaner, but is sort of big dragon snout, big fangs, and sort of covered in these black scales that sort of glitter in the firelight. And she watches you approach, doesn't say anything. She just sort of kind of leans against this big tent stake that's in the ground, kind of watching everything, not acknowledging that you're there, but not saying anything.
Hi, don't mean to bother you. It's just we saw you from across the fire and we thought that you looked like so pretty with your black scales and stuff. We just really needed to like talk to you.
Well, you've done so.
Yeah, so we just wanted to see if you like were interested in talking for a little bit, or I don't know, it's just your scales are just so pretty.
And what exactly is it you think we would have to talk about?
Oh, anything, like, you're half dragon, we're in a dragon cult. It's just all super interesting to us personally. And she like elbows Glad.
I'm sure it is. Yes, we've talked quite a bit about my appearance at this point, probably enough for the night.
Oh, I mean, if you don't like physical compliments, like, I would like to get to know you better.
I am in agreement, and physical appearance aside, it sounds like what you do is extremely interesting, and honestly, I'm quite captivated by your power and what you have to offer. Not, present company notwithstanding, everybody here has that same feeling, but I just really feel like I need to know more about it.
All right. I'll bite. What is it exactly you think I do that is so impressive?
Well, I know that you've got quite the commanding word here, and that says enough for me. If everybody here listens to what you have to say, that means that whatever you do, whatever power you have here is worth listening to and worth standing for.
I'm gonna have one of you. I don't think this is a lie. Roll a persuasion check.
Right.
I'll say with advantage because of help from the other one.
Well, I will roll the persuasion check.
Okay.
I figured. I wanted to give the option, but
That is a 17.
okay. Yeah, the 17. Gladness especially, I think, because you're used to reading people. I think you see just the hint of a smile. Almost imperceptible. Like her face almost doesn't change. There's just a little bit of like the turning up of her mouth at the corners. Well, the two of you at least talk a better game than most people in this camp.
Thank you.
Fine.
Good.
Don't get too high on yourself. It's early. Fetch me a drink. We'll talk for a while.
I will. Leo, why don't you stay here for a moment?
Okay.
And I run off to get her a drink, doing my absolute best to ignore Drosa, who has probably caused a mess.
He's just made a whole ruckus.
Yep. So I just
Made
grab
a whole
drink
mess.
from the same area, come back.
There's ale everywhere. There's just people with the cups, buckets, just trying to like remedy the situation. But yeah, you run over, grab her a drink. So Gladness is gone for a moment. Leo, I think Resmir sort of looks at you, thinks for a second. You're new.
Yep. Just joined up recently.
You're the one Drosa was pulling all over this green earth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want some advice?
Sure.
Don't get too attached.
Is he sort of just like that with people, or?
Oh no. He's perfectly fine. He's just so dreadfully boring after a couple of weeks.
I see. So just not into the whole boisterous attitude thing.
It doesn't bother me so much. It's just one can only hear about the different types of armor and different types of swords so many times before one wants to jump off the plateau.
Oh, so that's his go-to conversation.
It's his only conversation, I think. Unless there's mead, in which case he will talk about liking it.
Well, thank you for the advice. I do appreciate that.
You're not from here.
No, not really.
And yet I think you've sort of made people around here think you're from the area.
If I have, it wasn't on purpose.
We do a lot of things that aren't on purpose.
That's true, I suppose.
What's your game, Leo?
My game?
Sure. Everyone's got one.
Well, suppose I'm just trying to figure it out myself, what I want and what I'm looking for and what's interesting to me.
Fair enough. I think Gladness comes back at this point. Drink in hand.
He hands it to her.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, I've met your companion. What's your name?
My name is generated.
My name is Loading.
My name is Kane.
Ah. Well,
Just
oh,
go ahead.
I've asked her. I'll ask the same of you, Kane.
Mm-hmm.
What's your game?
Well, I'm a traveling bard of sorts. My game is wander around and make money where there's merriment.
And yet you find yourself in a camp fitted to only exist for a couple of weeks at most, unless a strong rain comes, in the middle of a sunken plateau.
What's more merry than a good story?
You know? On a different night, I would say otherwise, but I buy that. Are you also one of Drosa's groupies?
Lord, no. No.
Good. He could use less of them.
No,
Fewer, I suppose.
I'm interested in other things.
Such as?
Oh, intelligence for one.
Do you think it takes intelligence to tell a good story?
I think it takes intelligence, it takes passion, and it takes knowing your audience.
And who exactly is your audience, Kane?
whoever has the most to give.
I suppose I can drink to that.
He holds up a flagon, which he also got for himself.
Get one
Even
for
though he's
Leo.
not drinking. No, he didn't get one for Leo because he doesn't
Rip. She holds her flagon up, sort of knocks it gently against yours, and takes a drink. He looks at the two of you. So then, one more question. Same as the first. Together, what's your game?
This evening or in general?
This evening.
Oh, I thought we made that clear.
Roll persuasion.
That's a 19.
I think that'll do it. All right. That's been a very boring week. I suppose you know which tent is mine.
Yes, but as the number one, why don't you lead the way?
You presume to tell me what to do.
If that's what you want me to do. If not, I'll listen.
Give the campfire folk 2 more songs. Make your way to my door. The guards will let you in.
All right.
We'll see what your game is. She downs the rest of her drink, turns, and strides back toward Big Tent.
Achievement unlocked. Every half dragon at this camp.
When you've gotten all of the chromatic dragons, then you get the achievement Taste the Rainbow. I'm done. Good night.
Guys, my disguise self is gonna wear off.
Yeah,
It
this is
is.
a terrible idea. I don't think Glad thought this through.
Just
Plus, your
tell her
disguise
that
self
being-
doesn't change the fact that you have horns.
Yeah.
You can't. Does not. You can't see them right now,
You
but
can
I
feel
do
them.
still have them physically. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Kissing might be interesting. Among other things. Just saying.
Gladness has never got this far with this con. Which is a true statement.
I think Savannah's still broke.
Savannah has a very unhappily blue screened.
404.
Oh no.
So, because I'm the queen of improv, Resmir strides back towards her tent. You see her, I think, stop very briefly, say something to the guards in front of it, and then make her way inside. Gladness and Leo, you have probably about, what did I say? 2 songs? I don't know. 7 to 10 minutes, depending on who's playing, to decide your next course of action. Marta, you have made your way into the party fully at this point. I've probably seen some of this go down. And Pod, I assume you are skulking back around toward where the prisoners are held. And we will get to all of that next time, because we are so out of time for this, and I cannot in good conscience start anything else, because this deserves all of the wonderful, wonderful time we can give it.
So many things are gonna go so bad.
So I'm gonna let you all have a week to think about what you've done.
If you think about it, this really parallels the ending of our first session too, when we were leaving off just for someone banged a half dragon.
Yep, it's true.
I feel like we've really just brought it full circle.
I do not know how to say no to people. And I think it really comes through in my GMing.
That's because we were all taught improv, which is yes and, you can't say no.
Yes and, yes and, yes and. This plan is incredible. There's nothing in the book that is going to help me with this, so I'm just going to have to make up some shit, which, as everyone knows, is my favorite thing to do. But yeah, we're going to leave it there for today. Incredible.
So good.
Did I think this is where today was going to go? Absolutely not. Am I so happy that it did? I'm so full of joy right now. This game just brings me so much happiness. It's wonderful. You're all wonderful. We don't have end of session questions or anything to do, but we do have stars and wishes. Chat's calling me out. Yeah, I was literally just tweeting about how you should never tell your players no. No, I did. In that thread, I did specifically put a no but in there just in case. You should yes and about 95% of the time, and if something is really going off thread or is gonna fuck up your safety tools or shit, you should say no, but...
Or in Savannah's case, yes, but...
You don't know what she's into. So on that note, we're gonna do stars and wishes because I need to stop talking.
I have one.
Excellent. We've reached the point in the night where I need to stop talking. Morgan, please talk.
Okay, my star goes to Sam for being so sloth. As Gladness.
What?
And then-
Knowing your audience, well played. Well played. I was waiting for that one. I was like, how are we gonna finish this?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Leo
Glad-
has one trick when she's hitting on people, and it's just, you're so pretty.
So pretty. Glad had a real, like, most interesting man in the world kind of moment
Yeah.
there. It was very, like, chill, but also like, oh, hey.
It's like, I'm telling you something. What's
Don't know
your
what I'm
wish?
throwing down.
Amazing.
And my wish is for a dragon egg and baby dragons.
Listen, if we keep doing this, that might not be a problem. I think I made that same joke last time.
Somebody's gonna end up with a baby dragon. You guys also got a whole fucking dungeon to do, which I thought we were gonna do today, which I didn't think we were gonna do today. And then halfway through, I thought I was gonna have to do today without preparing. And then we didn't do it today. So we'll do it next time. Wishes, baby dragon, you. amazing. Thank you for your contribution, as always.
Ooh.
Who else?
I got stuff. I want to give my star to Marta for taking that deluge of BS and like actually getting something from it, even if it was just like I don't know how to what to think about it anymore.
That's the most introspection that Marta has had in a very long time. So thank you, really, thank you.
And my wish is for somebody to make Glad realize that he can't talk his way out of everything. Man thinks he's can say anything he wants to. Help him.
I think he may have helped himself.
Mm-hmm.
He might have gotten into a situation that he cannot talk out of.
We're gonna have to talk about how much disguise you have left. I'll math it out. And by math it out, I mean think about it and make something up.
Yeah.
Who else?
I'll go. My star, I think my star is going to go to Glad and Pod getting on a very similar wavelength just for like a moment. We're just like, we're in total sync.
Vibing!
They were in the drift, piloting the mech. I don't know that many Pacific Rim references, but yes, they had, it was very good. Especially when
I just really assumed you were making a Fast and Furious reference, but
oh, yes, both. They
were Tokyo drifting.
My wish is more of a self-fulfilling prophecy that Pod is going to set something on fire in this camp before we go.
Yes.
This camp is not making it out unmarred.
Glad will help him make that happen.
I like it. All right. Sid?
My star goes to Pod for actually doing the work today. Thank you, Pod. For
who did anything.
Keeping our investigations actually going. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Pod, the voice of reason?
Yes.
Not clickbait.
No, it was great. And my wish is for more wishes. No, my wish is I want to get into this this temple. I want to get into this shrine. I want to see some shit.
Get into the shrine and see some shit. Sorry, Sam, go ahead because chat is calling your ass out.
They're calling him Jeff Winger!
Is Gladness Jeff Winger?
Maybe a little bit, and I didn't even make him before. I watched Community after I made this character.
Is Gladness Jeff Winger?
Yes.
Exposed, not clickbait.
Oh my god.
So good.
I mean, I'm obsessed with Jeff Winger, so it's fine with me.
Amazing.
Who isn't? Nobody's more obsessed with Jeff Winger than Jeff Winger.
That is true.
Does that sound familiar? All right, I've got our stars and wishes down. All right, we've gone overtime, and I keep doing it, and I apologize. We just keep getting into these scenes, and I don't want to end them prematurely. I'm so sorry. But so we will go away for the evening very briefly. Is there anything anybody wants to plug or talk about before we say goodnight?
I'll plug it again. Join us on Thursday for our new Urban Shadows mini season. We're taking a little break from Elegant Magics I'm gonna be running these fools through those fools through.
Well, some of
LE
us are those fools.
Some of those fools through the Urban Shadows second edition quick start rules. The full Kickstarter. The Kickstarter's up right now. If you want to go back it's super awesome. I love the original Urban Shadows. The tweaks they've made are a lot of fun. The PDF just for the quick start is gorgeous. So definitely look at it.
It is so good.
Yeah. It's got like a cyberpunk vibe to it. It's awesome. I'm a sucker for any of that. It's going to be called
very cool.
Red River Legends. It's going to take place in Dallas, Texas, in the modern day. And they're going to be doing a little bit of investigating. More details on Thursday. Tune in.
Woo! Army, Texas is fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeehaw.
Anybody else? Oh yeah, what chat actually asked an excellent question. Are we in the regular time slot at 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays, or are we doing longer sessions? Have we decided? Does anyone know
Undecided.
what time it will be on Thursdays? Undecided, we'll tweet about it. I don't think we've actually talked about it as a group yet. It'll be
available.
It'll be at either 8 or 9 Eastern around that time, but we will tweet about it and we'll also post about it in the Discord. So you will 100% know when we are starting. Other than that, everybody's Twitter handle is below their faces right now. It's also in the chat, so follow them to do amazing work. I'm also going to do a little bit of a plug for something that a friend of mine worked on. There's this great Kickstarter that is happening right now. It's got 9 or 10 days left. It's called Fearsome Foes and Where to Fight Them. And it is a compendium, a guide. It is made for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, but it has a bunch of encounters and new monsters and things that a bunch of really, really lovely people have worked on and written and drawn and designed. The art is incredible. It's called Fears and Foes and Where to Fight Them. The Kickstarter is not going on for that much longer, but a lot of that money is going towards living expenses and medical bills and things like that for the people that worked on it. So it's an incredible book. It's got incredible art, and it's made by incredible people. So back it if you can. It's not going on that much longer. Fears and Foes and Where to Fight Them. It's on Kickstarter right now. Plugging that for some friends of mine. Yeah. Other than that, we'll be back for this show 1 week from today, here as always at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We will also be here throughout the week. Tomorrow for Tabletop Tuesdays for the Burbs, for Urban Shadows on Thursday, Neon Souls Friday, Mistborn on Saturday, Slaying on Sunday, and maybe a video game or two in between. So come hang out with us as always here. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube, and most of all, join our Discord, because that's where we post about literally all of this stuff. So if you want to know anything about what's going on with us, get on our Discord. It's on our Twitch page. It's also in the chat right now. So yeah, come hang out. But we will sign off for tonight, because I've taken up entirely too much of everybody's time with my bullshit. So until next week, good game and good night, Internet.